Okay, so I apologize. I lost a little bit of light here. Um, so the video that I was trying to show you I apologize, my camera kind of stopped working and apologize for the sound. But I'm going to finish this off for you. I don't know what's going on with my head. It got to look kind of crazy. Um, all right, so I showed you in the video just a little bit ago that it's done, and right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the mashed potato that we've made ahead of time, or you know what, you can also get that store-bought mashed potato. You don't really need to make everything from scratch if if that's what you like to do. But sometimes homemade and fresh potatoes taste a lot better. So because I had pre-made this for when I made mashed potatoes. So I just took a few potatoes for the amount that I'm going to have, and I'm just matting it down. Actually, I'm going to grab a bigger bowl. So I grabbed a bigger bowl. So I'm going to divide this up into a bigger bowl. Now, like I've said before, you do not have to use your hands for this if you have dry hands or cuts and everything, because it will burn. So what I did here, as you can see, I'm just gonna take a little bit of the cooked chili peppers and a little bit of the shallots. Just a little bit there. And I'm going to take a little bit of this mustard oil. Just a little bit, like less than half a teaspoon maybe. Just drizzle it a little bit like you would do for like salads with olive oil or something. And then I'm going to take the kosher salt, because I love kosher salt instead of regular table salt or iodized, and you can use that if you want. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of that there, and so I am using my hands, because right now my hands are good and clean. And what I'll show you is I'm just breaking up the peppers. Because they're cooked, they're going to be, or fried, what have you, it's going to be easier to break them apart. Now, normally if you have a blender or a food processor, which I do, but I'm not using it right now because it's a lot of work, or just if you have a mortar and pestle, you can use that for this. Back in the day, when I was really young, my mom used to have the mortar and pestle, or the stone slab with the rolling pin that was made out of stone. And what we used to do sometimes is take the stuff, cook it, and then put it on that, and then roll it and mash it by hand. That was a lot of hard work back in the day. But now you have food processors and blenders, and she didn't realize that you can do it with a blender too, until we were a little bit older, and my sisters and I said, well, hey, let's try the blender, let's see how it works. So you want to break down the onions or scallions or shallots, and you want to break down the peppers and everything. So that's how it's going to look. It's going to look like this, and it's going to be a mashed up thing. And then that's how you have it. I've got a pot of rice, just a regular rice that you would eat every day. There's nothing really special about it. Just long grain white rice tastes best with this. So that's what I'm gonna have. And you know, mm-hmm, perfect. Now, if you do this by hand, it's gonna burn your hand. I'm used to it. Right now, I don't have any cuts or dry cracks on my hands right now. And of course, you're not going to put your whole hand in there with your knuckles and anything. So, um, it's not going to burn. But for those of you, you can also wear one of those plastic or those gloves for cooking and everything. You can do that. Or you can just use a fork and a spoon to just mash everything up. But I use my hands because, wash it up here. Now for this next part, I am not going to use my hands only because it's all peppers and all shallots. So what I'm going to do here, whoop, one escaped, two escaped. So here we go. So I'm just gonna quickly put these in here. Where's my spoon? I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of more salt in here because this one's not flavored at all. And this is just the shallots and the peppers. Culturally, in my culture, we eat a lot of spicy foods, and sometimes we eat like peppers and stuff like this. So I'm going to take a little more of this, and this time it's going to be a little heavier. And I'm just going to try to crush it. And I just want to show you what this looks like a little bit. Right here, it's mashed potatoes with the onions and mustard oil and the Asian chili peppers. You can get these at any market or Asian market or the Asian aisle. You can also get it at the Indian markets and everything, and you can find them if you Google them online. So it's not that these are not tough ingredients to find, because where I live, you don't have a whole lot of this stuff, this kind of market out here all the time, and you got to drive out pretty far for that. Ooh, but some of this stuff, it's pretty accessible if you live in New York City, New Jersey, Long Island. Of course, you know that you can have all of this. Sorry about that. That was one of my kiddos. Yeah, so this is how it's coming out to be, but I would suggest to take off the stems. You take off the stems and cook it beforehand. I didn't do that, but I'm just going to break off the stems now because we don't eat those. But you just mash it up until they're, like you would do with mashed potatoes or anything. You just crush them and you get them into nitty-gritty little pieces, and you have it just like that, and with some rice and everything, if you're brave enough. But no, this is more for me than for you guys. But this spicy, so this spicy mashed potato dish is something of called a porta, and you can do this kind of porta for anything. You can use shrimp, you can use spinach and beans and other things, and you mix it in a little bit of rice, a little bit of water, and you mash it all up, and you use, this mustard oil is the key ingredient and all of that, and a little bit of salt, or I like to use kosher salt, because a little bit of that gives it a bang of flavor. And you don't need to do a whole lot, because Yeah. I think this is it for the video. This week's video, this end of the week's video is not, coming out the best. Stay tuned next week. I'm going to show you a how-to craft. Yes, it is a craft. It is a quick little craft. It is very small, something that you can make for your kids. If you have a daughter or a son and they like playing with stuffed animals or dolls or something, and earlier in the video, I think I showed you a book on doll making and stuff like that. This is something that I used to do a long time ago. So I will touch a little bit on that topic next week, and I'll show you how to make a small little fabric doll. You can take, an old torn out white pillowcase or any kind of, pink or beige that you have, whatever color you want, brown, and you can just take printing paper, blank white paper, drawing paper, and just cut out the size and the shape of the doll head. You don't really need a template. You don't really need to print out anything. You don't need to need any fancy tools. I know there are professional doll makers out there that make extremely exquisite fabric dolls. But for those of us who are not as highly skilled or that talented, or those who don't sew that often, if you just know the very basics, that's exactly what it's gonna be. Just the very, very basic, the most easiest type of thing. If you know how to do easy stitching, like sewing on buttons and stuff, if you know just that much, you can sew, you can do this. I apologize for the poor quality in the middle there, and I apologize how the end of this video is not coming out like how I planned. As you can see, it's getting a little dark. I started this video towards the end of the afternoon, and it just got dark real fast here. So, and you're asking, what do I eat with this? Well, you can eat rice, or you can have anything. And one of the biggest things in my culture, and my kids especially like, is hard-boiled eggs with rice and a little bit of butter. And hold on, what's going on here? So that's something that, maybe next time I'll show you how to make. No, these are not the cooking videos. I'm not just going to show you how to do cooking, but I'm also going to show you do crafting. And next week when I show you how to do those little cloth dolls, that's so very basic. And what I'll do is I'll pre-cut out some patterns that you can draw on a piece of paper and just cut it out in the size and the shape and whatever you want to do, whatever you want to make. I'll make a simple little bunny for you guys. A little bunny. You can turn it into a boy. You can turn it into a girl. Depends. If you want to make a skirt, you can make a skirt. And I'll show you how to do that like live on camera if you want. But, sometimes, as you can see, live camera stuff doesn't work as planned. Like, I lost lighting, sound quality. So you guys, I apologize if you can see my face through the lighting. My kitchen is not getting a whole lot of light when the sun goes down. So, thank you for coming to watch the end of the week's video. I hope you enjoyed all the videos I posted, especially the doll video. Watch out for Comfy Confessions coming in this week. We'll talk about that, and I'll talk about doll care for Comfy Confessions. And you'll see my dolls. And no, they're not in their costumes anymore. I took them out. And no, I don't have my dolls with me when I'm cooking. Especially cooking with spices and peppers and things that leave heavy scents. I usually have the door closed for where they're kept. So I'll see you next week. I'll show you the video. Bye, everyone. Have a good weekend, and stay tuned for Comfy Confessions, okay? Bye.